Hey guys, welcome to my video. Today I will be reviewing Black Widow and talking about if I think this movie is worth watching. In order to do this, I'll talk about what I think was good, what was bad, and what was ugly about the film. For those who don't know, Black Widow was supposed to come out in May of 2020, and then it got moved to November of 2020, only to be finally released yesterday on July 9th. I was actually able to watch this movie in theaters, which was great. It was about time. It was the first time I've seen a new movie in theaters. I've seen like old movies. I had this thing with my friends where we rented out the theater and it was really cool, but just seeing a new movie with a packed theater was awesome. I thought this was a mainly good movie, and I will admit I might be a little bit biased because this was in the theater and it was awesome. But this wasn't a perfect movie, but I did think it was good. This movie has heart. Alexia and Yelena are both hilarious in my opinion, and they create a great family dynamic with Natasha and Melena. Yelena made me laugh out loud a lot, and since like I said I watched this in a theater, I could tell a lot of other people liked her too. I really liked how Alexia and Yelena were both hilarious, but serious tones stayed in serious moments. No one said a joke or something in the middle of a very emotional moment in the film, which I thought was great. There are some movies that have quote unquote emotional moments when they just say a joke or whatever, and I don't know, I don't like that, but this movie did not have this issue, which, like I said, I thought it was great. This theme of family in Black Widow is very interesting and I thought unique to the MCU. The theme of family itself is not new to the MCU at all, but I haven't seen it used in a way like this in a Marvel movie before. This distinguishes Black Widow into its own original film. The family dynamic was very new and refreshing. Also, this really goes without saying in a Marvel movie, but the special effects are great. Things that's so realistic. Horrible CGI can take away from a movie, and just like most Marvel movies, I thought it was fine here. I thought this film also had good intrigue. To be fair, a lot of the intrigue has been here since Black Widow was introduced as a character to the MCU, so they really did a lot of the heavy lifting in other Marvel movies, but that just made for a very interesting plot here. I was very excited to find out more about the Red Room and other things from Natasha's backstory, especially because it has been so long overdue. It was awesome to finally have a movie to flesh out Natasha's character. We've seen her character develop, but it was always off to the side when she was with tons of other Avengers. Having a movie just about Black Widow is great because it was just about time Natasha had her own time in the spotlight. I like how the action in this feels like something you'd see in a spy movie. I saw Black Widow yesterday, and I also watched James Bond Casino Royale that very same day. That made it very easy to compare the two in my head, and the action was very similar, which was awesome. These action scenes feel like a spy movie, and they fit Natasha perfectly since, well, she was a spy. Unfortunately, I think Black Widow came out too late. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that this movie should have come out at least 5 years ago. A prequel like this has the potential to be really good, but the stuff this movie set up for a future doesn't seem that good. Now, I'm gonna say something that's a bit spoilery, so please skip ahead if you haven't seen this movie. You probably haven't seen it since this video is asking if it's worth watching. But yeah, it's just spoilers. This movie as a prequel feels like setup to more. And while a lot of prequels do that, just look at Star Wars. The prequels set up the original trilogy even though they came out afterwards. It's just this movie doesn't feel like it finishes Natasha's story. The ending with a post-credits scene and then Val showing up is not good. It feels like a slap in the face to what happened, and I'll get to more to that later. But this movie in general feels like a side plot to the MCU. It felt unrelated to the new MCU because the future of this movie already happened. Sure, Yelena's gonna be in new MCU content, but that feels unrelated to Natasha. They're sisters, yeah, but that's their only real connection. Maybe Hawkeye will bring up more about this story. I just don't like it though as a prequel. I think this movie will be great for new MCU fans watching everything in chronological order, but as a prequel, it doesn't do too well. Since Black Widow is a prequel, there aren't many states. We know Natasha isn't going to die because, well, she dies in Endgame much later on, and Yelena was already confirmed to have been in Hawkeye before this movie was released. There are some states that people like Alexei or Milena dying to parents, and of course if a Red Room will be shut down or not, but none of that was super meaningful to me since we pretty much know everything is going to be okay based on just how Marvel movies work. And once again, this is a little bit spoilery, really a lot spoilery, so please skip ahead about 30 seconds or so, maybe even more to be safe. But the post-credit scene in this movie shows Natasha's sister Yelena visiting her gravesite, giving us a memorial for Black Widow that should have happened in Endgame. The thing is, though, this memorial is very short-lived because Val shows up and starts over-dramatically blowing her nose. I hated this moment because it felt like a slap in the face to Natasha's character. That scene would have been a great ending to a character of Black Widow, but no, Marvel had to use this scene as a launchpad for more content. They could have just as easily had the memorial scene and made another scene with Val and Yelena sometimes later, but they didn't do that, and I hated that part of the movie. Anyways, in my opinion, Black Widow was a good movie, but I didn't think it was great. It absolutely had its fair share of flaws. But to get to what the title of this video says, is Black Widow worth watching? My answer to this is less of a definite yes or no and more ambiguous. If you're a huge MCU fan, I think this is absolutely worth watching. Maybe try buying a ticket at an actual local theater if you're comfortable with that, because it can save you some money compared to Disney Plus's $30 fee. If you have a big family though, it might actually save you some money watching Black Widow for $30 on Disney Plus for everyone. Because you could probably get a movie ticket for about $15 for a person, but if you're getting it for a whole family, say it's 5 people, that's a lot. That's like $60 or so, and then after taxes and whatever, that's just a lot. But if you have a big family or you have a party or something and that's a movie on for whatever reason, then it's worth it to buy it on Disney Plus. But I think it's a good idea to support a local theater. I'm sure they've had a lot of problems with this pandemic, so it might be good. However, if you're not a huge MCU fan, I think Black Widow isn't worth watching for a price. It's entertaining, but it's pretty expensive entertainment. It might be worth watching, or it might be worth waiting until it becomes free on Disney Plus on October 6th. As usual, this is just my opinion, and don't let my opinion be the say-all be-all. If you still want to watch this movie after my review, feel free to. I hope you liked it. I wasn't the biggest fan of this film, but I still enjoyed it. I rate Black Widow a 7.5 out of 10. So, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because it would really mean a lot. Make sure to tell me if there are any movies or shows you'd like to see me review next, and I will see you in the next video.